Russell Peters, the renowned Canadian comedian of Indian descent, has carved out a unique space in comedy by blending sharp observational humor with deep social and cultural insights.
Oh, that is very incorrect. I am cheap. Jews are thrifty.
His comedy resonates globally, drawing on multicultural experiences, immigration struggles, and the complex dynamics of race and ethnicity. Beyond simply entertaining, Peters' work probes into nuanced themes, often sparking implicit and occasionally explicit reflections on identity, diversity, and social stereotypes.
That is the only way to make cake. They've been making cake like that since the beginning of time.
In terms of comedic style and technique, he's perfected a comedic approach that both reflects his personal background and invites the audience to examine their own perceptions. His observational humor is particularly effective as he draws from real-life experiences and cultural contrasts that feel both specific and universal. He shares relatable stories of growing up in an immigrant family and playfully explores the various expectations and norms that are straddled on him.
We are ekdam number one.
But the hallmark of his act is the use of accent imitation. These character voices lend authenticity and humor to his storytelling, allowing audiences to momentarily step into the world he describes. While his accents can be controversial, he explains that his goal is to normalize and celebrate diverse voices rather than ridicule them. His accent work not only brings characters to life, but also highlights the cultural nuances in a way that's both humorous and thought-provoking. His use of satire to tackle cultural stereotypes is another defining feature. By exaggerating certain stereotypes, he exposes their often arbitrary nature, encouraging audiences to question the biases that fuel them. He walks a delicate line, leveraging stereotypes to create comedy while subtly pointing out their absurdity in a multicultural world, while at the same time making it relatable to audiences and different demographic groups.
An older lady right there, she probably still calls black people colored and Chinese people oriental, but they don't mean anything. It's just that's what we grew up with, you know. My dad used to call my friends Negroes.
Yeah. He did?
Yeah, Russell, the Negroes are at the door, you know. And I'm like, Dad, you can't say that. Why? What are they? The bloody Negroes.
He's also talented in self-deprecating humor, which reinforces his insider status as someone who's lived in the immigrant experience.
Without trying to suck up to you guys, because I'm scared.
By poking fun at himself and his life experiences, he creates an inclusive atmosphere where audiences feel comfortable laughing at shared cultural quirks. This rapport is especially strong with immigrant communities who see their own experiences reflected in his jokes and anecdotes. Underlying his material is a deep theme of identity, belonging, and social norms. Through his humor, he touches on the paradox of cultural identity, reflecting on the tension between heritage and the expectations of a new country once immigrated.
I want my doctor to be some bratty Indian kid who grew up in Mississauga.
His jokes resonate with an audience that are balancing these dual identities, making his work a commentary on what it means to belong in a community. One recurring theme is the idea of unity through laughter. He often highlights how humor has a unique way of bridging cultural divides, showcasing that despite our differences, laughter is universal.
We're selling to the Indians.
By poking fun at all cultural groups, he breaks down barriers and emphasizes the shared humanity and traits across all cultures, and he uses humor as a vehicle for empathy and understanding. Through this, he challenges norms and constructs around race and ethnicity, and he challenges audiences to think critically about stereotypes and prejudices.
Then you were thinking, I'm going to be a musician. Your mom walked in and went, Sandu.
His jokes encourage viewers to question norms and invite them to see stereotypes as not defining labels, but as social constructs that are often baseless. There's a paradox of stereotyping. While his comedy relies on stereotypes for punchlines, he also critiques them by highlighting their absurdities, inviting audiences to see beyond superficial labels and appreciate individual differences.
Just because you're offended doesn't mean you're right. There's plenty of things that offend me on a daily basis, but it doesn't mean I'm right, and it doesn't mean that it's somebody else's problem. If something bothers you, that becomes your problem. It shouldn't become the world's problem, and it shouldn't become it's for you to deal with. And the problem is we have a new generation of kids that have no coping mechanisms. They don't know how to cope with any adversity.
Critics argue that the use of accents and cultural stereotypes reinforce harmful tropes. However, comedy can be a tool for connection, and humor can reveal commonalities in human experiences rather than mocking or belittling. By acknowledging stereotypes openly, you can disarm these powers and invite audiences to laugh at themselves and others in a way that feels unifying.
And go. Take it and go.
He's paved the way for new generations of comedians from diverse backgrounds, inspiring them to find humor in their own unique cultural experiences. His comedy is a thoughtful exploration of cultural dynamics, using humor to bridge divides and spark conversations. It's grounded in a belief that laughter is a universal language, a powerful means of fostering empathy and understanding across different backgrounds.
There we go.
Big L, rest in peace.